These are pictures that were taken of early Alameda of what was probably the biggest fire that ever occurred in the city of Alameda, the year 1920. It was on Park Street, roughly between Lincoln and Santa Clara. I understand the fire was started in a hay barn and really got out of control. You can see the old-time light fixtures are on Park Street at that time. Park Street was laced with railroad tracks, and so was Lincoln Avenue and Santa Clara, Encinal, and Central Avenues. I don't know all the buildings that were involved in the fire. I do know that the Ryan's shoe shop was one. Some of their stock was out on the sidewalk, saved by the firemen. Park Street was the main shopping street of Alameda. It still is the center of town. On Park Street at one time, just a block from the location of the fire, was a water tower that was the main supply for all of the water in the city of Alameda. The firehouse is shown burning in one of the scenes there on Webb Avenue, just off of Park Street. There is an overall view looking down Park Street. You can see it was quite a mess. This was apparently a gas main that was ruptured by the fire. Here's a pretty good view of the ashes. Some of these people are still living in Alameda. I recognize some of the names. Most were volunteers who helped fight the fire. That train you just saw streaking by was part of the red trains that used to come down both Lincoln and Encinal Avenue and connect with the ferry boats. It seemed like a slow method of transportation, but you could get to San Francisco from most points in Alameda in 40 minutes. Then the bridge was built, and of course the trains went over the bridge. Alameda was not always an island. It was made into an island around 1902. It was the largest dredging operation ever attempted prior to the Panama Canal. This is a scene of Webster Street, Alameda at Christmas time, just about the time that Neptune Beach was torn down in 1939. The only thing you see remaining at that time was the Campanile Tower, which was the entrance at Webster and Central. It was completely covered with neon lights, and it was very beautiful at night. The pools were filled with salt water from the bay. There was one very large swimming pool, which most of the time went unused. It may have been a settling tank to clear silt from the water. It was one of the largest pools in California at that time. There was also a regular swimming pool with a diving tower. The large building across from the swimming pool was a dance floor, and underneath was a restaurant and several concessions. Many of these concessions and rides were brought to Neptune Beach from the 1915 San Francisco Exposition when it closed down. The Trillo Company, who were the builders of the 1915 Expositions, decided to build this amusement park in Alameda, and they purchased the amusement concessions and brought them over here, and that was the beginning of Neptune Beach. I think Neptune Beach was opened about 1918. The big day of the year would be the 4th of July, that sometimes would attract as many as 60,000 people. There was a complete fireworks display. Later on, of course, Neptune Beach became the victim of the Depression years, and business started going down. They dropped their prices. By 1939, their last year, they actually had no admission charged at all. People just didn't have the money. I feel that with the outbreak of World War II, it would have become the place to go. The sailors and GIs would have come. It was too bad they didn't hang on just for another year. Of course, who was to foresee it all at that time?